That is recording to the cloud now officially. So welcome to our class for today. So essentially today we're going to be going over how to price a home, right? So we're going to be doing this in a couple classes. So this part of the class is like the CMA part of it, the part where you're at your office and you're trying to determine what the hell is this home worth in today's market, right? Like that's what we got to figure out. I would love to hear before we get started how some of you currently do it. So when it comes to pricing a home, what is it you guys currently do?
I look at other recent comparables that have sold.
Yeah, like let's say it's a subdivision home around a school.
Yeah, so I look at what has sold in the last month, I would say, right now in this type of market.
Yeah.
I've seen if there's anything that's expired or suspended, and what's on the market right now. Yeah,
I love that. Now, Alexa, this might be different to ask you this question because the properties that you're dealing with might be a little bit, more rural, not so many comparables. So I'd love to know how it is that you determine the value of a home.
Yeah, it's definitely harder. There's times where it's nice being on a team because then I can go to everybody and say, this is what I think it's worth. What do you guys think? But basically I start by doing the same thing, looking up comparable sales that have sold the most recently. A lot of the time I have to open that up a bit. So say I'm looking under 30 days. If there's nothing, I have to open that to maybe 60 or 90 days. And if I'm trying to price something that has no comparables, so for example, I'm actually about to price a property. It's on 10 acres with a house. There is one comparable, but I am also going to break it down by land pricing. So I'm going to look at what 10 acres sells for without a house, just as raw land. And then I'm going to look at what a regular old lot with that style of house sells for. And I'm going to, kind of do some math that way. Sometimes we have to do that when we have to. There's not two houses the same up here. So it's definitely harder.
Yeah. And full disclosure, like when it comes to listing a rural home, I'm not the greatest at it because again, I don't do it that often. So it is much more challenging to do homes or properties like that, right? It becomes a lot more challenging. And that's where I think, looking at, price per square foot, price for the land, that's when that stuff comes back into play. Today, what I'm going to be doing is I recently just sold a place, in a subdivision home, there's tons of comparable properties. I'm going to walk you through the process as to how I price that property and the strategy that we decided to go with behind that. And we're going to kind of work it from there, right? So I'm going to share my screen now. If you guys can see it, let me know. You should be able to see my screen now. So I went on the listing appointment, sat down with the clients, and at this point, I hadn't seen their home, right? So I have no idea what their home is. I only know the basic. It's a 3 bedrooms, 1 in the basement, in-law suite. And we have, the roof was done in 2010. The basement was done in 2012. Okay. That's all I know about this place. So having said that, I need to prepare, they're going to want to see a valuation right as I go over to meet them. Sometimes I don't give them the valuation right away. I'll say, okay, now that I've seen your home, let me go back home, take a look at the market again and give you a price. In this case, I felt pretty comfortable because of the comparables I had that I could do it. Right. So the way that I got to the number I got at was I looked at a couple things. Okay. I looked at number one, what the average home price in Newmarket was from the last comparable sale. So right away, if I go over here and I go to Stratus, I can find the areas to which they sold their home. And I'm going to go to sold and I'm going to match up as many details as I can to theirs. So I'm going to start with 2 bedrooms. Theirs was a bungalow. So it was a detached bungalow. And I'm going to go back as far as I can, really. It's kind of hard to go back a long time. In a buyer's market, I would typically go back almost a year. In the market we're in, you really got to go back like 2-3 months, right? Which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So right away, I see this one, okay? We were on the same street. This is 3 houses down from where we were at, okay? This is the inside of the home. So I take a look at that and I take a look at the inside of the home. See, very nicely done up. I've actually been inside of this house when it was on the market. I missed out on this one, funny enough, with my clients. But again, very done up home, very nice. So now I know I'm going to a similar house that's a similar style as this one, has a finished walkout basement, just like this one does. I'm going to prepare my CMA to kind of be similar to this one in today's marketplace, right? So as you can see, let me just get to the backyard here. Very nicely done up, okay? Very, very beautiful home. I'm going to go back one page earlier. This house here, it says it's a bungalow. I didn't even see this one when I was doing my CMA, to be honest. So I wouldn't even, to be honest, I probably wouldn't even have put it in. But there wasn't many comparables in the sense of bungalows. So now we have to do, now we have to go back to our criteria. So let me go to results, and we're going to switch it up to detached home, or sorry, just any style home, right? And see in the last 6 months, what's sold. So I'm going to see a crap load of houses. And this is where I'm going to be a little bit more particular. So now we got 3 bedrooms, you know, we have 1 in the basement. Let's see what we have for that, for all the homes on the market that have sold in our area, which is Summerhill and Newmarket. Let's see what we have for there. Okay, so we have 43 results. Okay, so 43 results, you know, we can start to work down, or we can go through this a little bit more in depth and try to nail off, you know, a little bit more about our property. So we can do, let me see where walkout basement is. I gotta add it, I think. Basement, we're gonna do finished and finished walkout. Actually, let's do finished walkout. See what we get from there. So boom, I've now narrowed it down to 11 listings, right? So I'm getting it more precise to our actual property itself. So if I just take a quick peek here, and this actually has Glenway, which is not even in our area. I think for the purpose of this, I just put it in there. And I can take a look at the stats here, and I can see right away the average home price in this area over the past 6 months has been 1.47. That's the average sold price, 1.47, okay? So not a big deal. I'm gonna go through these properties myself, really take a look at them, you know, see how they're gonna stack up. And again, keep in mind, I haven't seen the inside of my listing yet, right? So I'm gonna see, okay, nicely done. You know, what's it gonna go for, right? This one sold for 1 million, just shy of 1.6, and it sold back in October. So the next thing I'm going to do, right from that point on, a lot of people you know, a lot of people when they value homes, they'll base it on a per square footage, like a price per square foot strategy. It seems to be the best strategy to go, you know, roughly, okay, yes, I know for my house will be $800 per square foot. However, the one issue with that in today's marketplace is it doesn't really matter, because there's not enough data to back it up, because there's just people out there that are crazy enough to go over the top, right? And pay that extra bit of money that they might think is the home is worth it, even though it makes no sense. Like you can see houses, you know, they're selling condos in Newmarket, they're $1,200 a square foot now, right? You can see houses selling for $1,500 a square foot, and then some that are selling for $900 a square foot. So it's like, how is this all relative? It's relative because of the finishes of the home, right? Some people find value in the finishes, some people don't find value in it. And some people are willing to pay more because of that. So what I look at is I look at the average sales. So going over to Treb, in the login screen here, you can click on at the top, market stats, okay? It's gonna bring us over to these 3 sections here. So I break it down, I go right to the market watch section, which is gonna bring me into, I'm just gonna delete this. It's gonna bring me into here. So this shows me all of the market stats for all the areas that I trade within, right? And the best part about this is I can look it up for any time of the year. So this is 2021, 2020, all that great stuff. All the information's here. So I'm going to click on York Region, and it's going to bring me up to the York Region average prices for 2021, or for December 2021. Let me go back there for a second. Where do I view? Right there. So then we have the regional reports archive. Okay. So this is for, no, that's not what I wanted. Hang on. Where am I? How did I find that? Let me get rid of this. I just had it. Okay, so this is for December. Regional reports. Here it is, right here. Okay. Sorry, when you're in the market stats, I'm in December for 2021. I can click on regional reports archive, which is down here. And no, what the heck? It just did the same thing again. Oh, sorry. All the maps are all the dates are right there. I apologize. It's right in front of me the whole time. So right here, I have December, I have November, October, September, August. I can go backwards in time, right? So I'm going to go back to my last comparable property that sold, which was on Narinia as well. So I'm just going to take a peek to see where it was. Narinia. Actually, sorry, I got to make this a bungalow again. Whoops. I think Narinia was a 2-bedroom there. Okay, so I have it here. So boom, this is the property. When did it sell? It sold in October. Okay, 10/8. So I'm going to take a quick peek. I'm going to go over to the October section. That's December. So this is October, okay? And I'm going to go down to Newmarket, and I can see in the town of Newmarket. Now you can break this down per subdivision if you really want to. If you want to see Summerhill, you can go right in depth to the community reports and get the community reports in that area, right? But roughly it's going to tell you the same results. So I can see the average price of a home in Newmarket in October was $1,342,000. Okay, 1.3. I can see that the average percentage over asking was 110, and the average days on market is 10 days on market, right? Okay, so now let's fast forward to our latest month, which is December, which is now over here. So I'm going to click on December, and I can see that the average price has gone up to 1.46, with the actual percentage over asking at 1.13, and the days on market has actually gone up as well, 18 days, right? So now what I like about this is that this is telling me that the market, let's call it, whatever the percentage is, I think it was like 8%, it's gone up, right? So from October to December, the town of Newmarket on average went up 8%, right? So what does that tell me about this property right here, 269 Narinia? What do you guys think? What does that tell you about that property?
It should have increased by 8% if you're going to put it on the market today.
Yeah, exactly. If you were to bring it on, if you were to put it on the market today, so let's say 1.55 plus 8%, it should roughly go for $1,674,000, right? If that's going to add 8%. So just shy of 1.7, let's call it. Okay. So now I know that for a fact. I know that the market has gone up about roughly 8 to 10%. This home here selling in the new market would sell for more, right? Obviously, it's done up. It looks beautiful. So I go over to my seller's house now. I walk through the house, and I'm actually going to pull up the photos, and you guys can tell me what you think of it in comparison to that other property. Okay. Unbranded link. Let's take a look at this. Okay. Based on these photos, you can clearly see that the other property is quite superior to ours, right? And by what I mean superior is, I mean it's more modern. Ours is outdated, right? It needs some love. The bones of it are great. Everything about it is solid. There's no issues with it. It's just outdated, right? It needs someone to come in, and it needs someone to give it a fresh cosmetic renovation, right?
Yeah, some things are good. Like the floors look okay. It's just like the kitchens and the cabinetry, crown molding,
the paint,
paint, the
again,
crown molding.
Very easy job, right? The bathrooms need to be redone. Yeah. The
Tiles.
the stairs, it's all cosmetic. This is the basement here, nothing crazy, just it's done up. It'd be better if it was smooth ceilings, they had pot lights, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I would say roughly that this property would go at the time in October, probably about 150,000 less, right? So if this one sold, or if that other one sold, where is it? For 155, we're probably going to lose about 150,000. This one, that puts our property in the price range of roughly about 1.4, right? Which is funny because I'm going to go on with this story, and you're going to see how I came up with this. But Anyway, so 1.4. Okay, so now the market's gone up about 8% since that time. So 1.4 plus, let's call it 8%, brings me to the valuation of $1,512,000. Really simply, right? 1.512. Okay, so now I know in today's marketplace, this property should go for roughly that price, right? Now, how do we justify that price to other people? Because at the end of the day, they're going to see this comparable property and they're going to see it's significantly more modern than ours is. And they know they're going to have to put the work in. So now we do, now what we're going to look at is the actual homes that we're competing with, right? Because now at the end of the day, we're still in a seller's market. So now we need to see, okay, so I'm just going to do this live and see, because I doubt anything has changed. Let's see what our competition would be if I were to list a home right now in Summerhill. So York, I'm going to go Newmarket. I'm going to go Summerhill. Okay. Available homes, 9. Okay. So of those 9 homes that are available, let's take out all of them that might be sold conditional. We have 8. So we lost 1. Okay, great. Now we're detached homes. So we're not going to include townhomes or semis. So now we're at 7 homes in total in all of Summerhill. Okay, great. So now let's take a look at those 7 homes. Actually, let's go back to that criteria for a quick second. Let's see, of those 7 homes, how many of them are bungalows? 0, none, not a single bungalow. Okay, cool. So we're going to go back to all of them. So we know now, if we were to list this home today, we are the only bungalow, which is a very sought after product in the Summerhill area. Okay, so let's take a look. This one right away, 7.5 million, definitely not comparable to us. So we can get rid of that, right? So we're going to take it down to here. We're going to narrow it. Now we're down to 6. Okay. We have these properties here. These are all in Summerhill, and we're going to go through them and we're going to see, okay, this one's a 1-car garage. Ours is 2. So really, yeah, it's nice, but it's not completely comparable, right? Well, we're still competing with it. We're also going to take a look at the frontage of the property. So this is a 30-foot frontage. Ours is 50, right? So really, it's not that comparable in the sense of, okay, it's a smaller house. Ours is a bungalow on a bigger lot, right? So we're probably going to drop this one off. 31 by 110. Again, not a huge property, but same thing. It's done up really, really nicely. So I personally, I would probably drop it as well. So we're going to get rid of that one. Getting a bit better. So now we're 40 feet by 119. So now we're kind of in the range of where we want to be, right? These guys have photos from the spring and the fall. Very beautiful home. Again, detached home. Looks like it's done up nicely. Great. This is a comparable property. I'm going to keep that there. This one here, 31 feet. I'll probably take a look at it, see if I like anything from it. Yeah, it's nice. Okay, I'll keep this one. Sure, let's keep it. This is clearly a semi-detached. I don't know why that's in. So we're gonna get rid of that one. McBride. Okay, this one had a price change already, so that's good to note. So they obviously their original price was 1.79. Okay, so they tried for 1.8, and now they're down to 1.6. So something clearly happened. So they probably didn't have any showing, or sorry, probably didn't have any offers. They probably tried to hold offers, right? So I'm going to look at that and I'm going to say, okay, let's drop that one. We don't really care for that one. So that brings me down to a couple listings, right? Of these 2 listings, I'm then going to look at what is their strategy like. So this guy's listed at 1,399, so 1.4. Are they holding offers? Probably. There you go, right there, January 31st. They're holding offers to that date. Okay, no problem, no big deal. Next one, 1,499. Also looks like a number that they're going to be holding offers Feb 1st. Okay, so the common strategy in this area is they're holding offers. So they're giving it about a week's time. So now, when I see a question in the chat there. Let me just pop that open. Oh, just a hello. Hi there. Welcome to the class. This is recording, correct? Yeah, we're recording. Sorry, I got to make sure because otherwise I'd have to do it again. Okay, so now that we know roughly the strategy is they're holding offers. Okay, we know the average price in this area right now for December is 1.462. Okay, we know that our last comparable sale in comparison, if we were to look at our property After we've seen it, we would probably be about 150 to 200,000 less. And if we add the multiple that the market has gone up in this area since that point, we're roughly about 1.5. So we're above the average price, but the average price also include, or sorry, yeah, we are above the average price. But the one thing that's important about it is that we're the only bungalow that's for sale in the Summerhill area. If we look at how many bungalows are for sale in all of Newmarket, I wouldn't be surprised if we were one of the only bungalows that were for sale as well. So let me just take a quick little peek, because that is something that I would look at. So I would go York, Newmarket, and I would go straight down to this section here, and I'd go bungalow. 3 for sale, right? Probably one of them is going to be in the Summerhill. So this one's sold conditional, that one's out. And the other 2 are quite different. This one's in the Bristol area, nothing comparable to our home at all. And the other one is also not really comparable at all. Okay. So my go-to strategy in this situation, knowing that our home should sell for 1.5, is to tell my clients, okay, we can look at it 2 ways. We can hold offers at one point. Let's call it, depending on how low you want to go, you could go 1,399, or you could go at 1,449,000 and hold offers for a couple days. But the important part is knowing your client's expectations as well. So sitting down with them, going over my strategy, they shared with me that their son works from home, and that it would be a really, really big challenge if we had to interrupt him during the day for showings. And I know right now, with the way that showings have been going, things have been going pretty quickly, and there's been a lot of showings that are being booked. So I know that's going to be an issue. So I asked for a time. When can I show the home? So I got told you can show the home Friday all day, Saturday all day, Sundays after 3 p.m., Monday to Thursdays after 7 p.m. So I'm like, well, if I hold offers for a week, that kills the whole plan. Like, no one's going to even get into this house. So what I had recommended to them was we can shift our strategy and look for the, price it more aggressively, price it pretty much where we want to be at, by still creating a bit of buzz. So pricing at 1,499, we know it should go for about 1,515,000 to maybe 1,530,000. Hopefully we can create some buzz still and have a 24-hour irrevocable period that the sellers have signed as a seller direction. That way, any offers come in, if it doesn't have 24-hour irrevocable, I don't even have to review it, right? I don't even have to look at it. So that's also important. Reviewing that with my clients, they like that strategy. The next morning, they gave me a call and they said that we were the ones that were going to get the listing. Okay. So we went live with that listing. Let me go back here for a quick second. We went live with the listing on the Thursday. First day, we had about 8 showings booked for the Friday, because we had 1 showing booked for the Thursday, and that's all we could show because it was 7 o'clock. And then from there, we had about 8 showings booked for the next day and like 15 showings booked for the Saturday. In total, we had about, actually, let me bring this back to October. In total, we had 30 showings. Okay. This was our property here, 1,499. We sold it for 1,550,000, right? So we were able to create a little bit of buzz. We had 1 offer come the night before we went live at our asking price, 1.5. The guy called me, he goes, the work we got to put in, blah, 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 blah. We don't want to do it. We'll give you the full asking price. That's it. No problem. We're going to wait for the showings to start. Next day, no action, which was the Thursday, which is the first day. The first full day, the Friday, we had a little bit of action, people giving us calls here and there, nothing serious. We had 2 verbal offers at 1.4, not what I wanted it to be, right? So it was like immediately like, guys, what are you talking about? And they're like, well, based on the comparable, again, the comparable being this neighbor's house, which is 3 doors down and much nicer. They're going based on the comparable, this one's worth 1.4. So I had to coach agents on, okay, let's go through this again. The comparable being 1.5 sold 3 months ago. The market has gone up 10% in this area since that point. So this house is not worth 1.5 today. This house is worth 1.7 if it's sold today, right? Just given that appreciation. So a couple agents got it, a couple didn't. Okay, no problem. Saturday went by, I got one offer in hand. Plus the guys that were there the night before, they were still at the table. And then we got a second offer that evening. Yeah, Dave, what's up?
Yeah, just going back to the agents that were like contesting the price, but like, how can you really contest that though? Like, is there's relevant statistics saying, XYZ houses in this neighborhood 3 months ago were selling for this. It's like the growth in the market has been this. It's like, it's pretty black and white. It's pretty black and white in my mind.
Incredibly black and white. To me, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. Like, this is something so
and
easily.
It's a seller's market.
And it's a seller's market. And I had to tell them, we're the only bungalow in town for sale.
Yeah.
Right. We're on the most desired street in Summerhill, or one of the most desired streets in Summerhill.
What was their argument though?
Their argument was the cosmetic work that needs to be done. Right. So they were comparing it to this one property, about how much we needed to do in order to make it this property, which I agree with. Yeah. I don't.
How much did they say? How much did they say they needed to do to it though?
Some agents said 200,000. Some said, so some said 200 grand. And I said, okay, that still brings me to a 1.5 valuation, right? Like, because if this one will sell for 1.7, if you subtract 200 grand, that's still 1.5, right? So you're still off.
Yeah, and I'm just interested to hear what people think, what their arguments are, because that's fine. You can say, I can agree with you. Yes, there's $150,000 to $200,000 worth of renovations needed, but you can't argue the fact that the market hasn't gone up from that point.
Exactly. You can't argue that fact, right? Like, I'm providing them with the facts. And there's a lot of agents out there that don't do their homework in the sense of trying to find out what the market value of this home is worth, right? So they don't understand. So once I coach them through it, they get it. So finally we get an offer for $1,550,000, but it has two conditions. It has an inspection condition and a financing condition. I'm like, oh my God, this is so stupid. The next highest offer we had was $1,525,000. So we were 25 grand apart with two offers. So I advise my clients, I'm going to try and get the higher offer firm. In the event that the higher offer is not firm, I think we should still go for the 1.25 because we're still above what we should be getting for this property. Number one. Number two, they've attached a deposit check and they are very motivated to buy this place, right? I'm going to try and get them up to the 1.55, but if they don't, we should consider this as an alternative option. So I met with my clients at 1 o'clock on the Sunday. There was a showing booked for 3 o'clock. So I let the showing happen because we had until 6 o'clock for an irrevocable. At 3:30, I called the agent and I said, listen, do you like this property or not? He goes, yep, we love it. We want to bring an offer forward. I said, great, bring me the offer forward. Has to be in the 1.5 to 1.6 range. Or I said, it has to be above 1.5 and it has to be firm if possible. That's the only way you're going to get it. So he brought me an offer for $1,538,000 firm. So now I've knocked off the other guy. So now I'm closer. So I said to him, listen, my clients want to work with your offer. But they wanted me to come back and get some more money essentially. So I said, you got to go up. You got to go up to about 1.55 and then you'll pretty much get this deal. So he talked it over. 10 minutes later, I got the offer 1.55. We signed the deal, got the deposit check the next day, right? Property was sold. So this is how I'm coming up with the value of the property in today's marketplace. Now, again, the one thing I want to specify is at no point did I look at a per square footage price point for this house. This house was about 1,800 square feet, 1,900 square feet, right? I didn't even buy the report for it. Actually, maybe I think I might have. I don't know. I don't even think I did. I have the square footage on a document somewhere. I know that. But the fact of the matter is, because the market is so hot, because of everything that's going on right now, I didn't need it in order to get a true value for this property. I was able to determine that just based on the comparables in the area, knowing the market, what's for sale in the area, knowing that we would be the only one that's for sale as a bungalow, knowing that we're a desired street, and knowing what the average price in Newmarket has gone up since the last comparable property in this area. Based on those stats alone, I was able to determine that the price this property should go for is 1.5, which created enough buzz for it to go for 1.55, right? Does anybody have any questions about how I came up with that valuation? Would anybody have done something differently, or would they have considered something differently? Like, would you guys have priced it at 1.499?
I think you did a good pricing on that. Like, I think it sounds, based upon the way that obviously holding offers would have made more sense if you had that opportunity, but based upon the fact
based
that
on
you
the
didn't
circumstances,
have the circumstances, it seemed like it was very acceptable what you did. I don't think I would have done anything differently. The only thing that's really weird with this situation is there's only one close comparable. Would you have gone back even further? Like, was there anything even like 6 months ago, and then you could have done that?
That's what I did. I went back as far, like I went back to about a year. but
Yeah.
the difference in price points were like crazy.
Crazy.
I was looking at like 1.2 a year ago. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's like crazy.
Could you have added like,
So it's
could you have added like 30% onto that?
yeah,
And then-
I would have had to have added a crap ton of percentage to it because it's like it's not even relative
That's tough.
anymore.
That's tough
just
though,
given
right?
that market, which is so challenging, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Do people
now-
do that though? Would you go back though? Like obviously this year's
yeah.
weird
Oh
because
no, for
the
sure.
market's got-
100%.
the
100%.
market's
I
got
would
up
go
so-
back. What I ended up doing, like the comparables, I wonder if I actually have the CMA still in here. I might actually, because I create a list. So there is a CMA tool within Command, or sorry, within Command. Thinking Keller Williams here. Within Trev, there is a CMA tool you can use to get comparable properties. To be honest, I can honestly say is I've never used it. I just go through properties on my own because I like to see the product. I like to see the area. I like to see where it was listed. So I create a listing cart and I have the CMA right here. And these are the properties. No, this is the wrong CMA. Sorry, I might not have it anymore. No, I don't have it. I destroyed it. I can get rid of this one though too. Yeah, I got rid of it. So I put all the properties that I think are the most comparable, and in which case, in this instance, a lot of them were detached homes, unfortunately. Or sorry, not
Do you have a
all of
template
them were detached homes, 2-story homes is what I meant to say.
do you have a template of your CMA that you present?
Like a paper form.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then basically and that's what we're going to kind of go over next week is like how to present
okay.
it.
Yeah.
So what I do with them, this is what I use. Go to documents here, Team Russo, client packages, sellers, CMA documents. So CMA print offs. This is what I go over. Comparative market analysis, that's the cover. This is a quick little letter that just states that, we understand your home is worth a certain amount and we want to treat your home with the most amount of respect, sell it for the most amount of money,
Yeah.
least amount of time, and the least amount of stress imposed upon you. A brief marketing plan. We go through this more on an iPad. Then we have 5 for sale properties that we're currently competing against. In this case, they only had 2, right? There was literally nothing. And then we have 5 sold properties. Then we have our personal service commitment guarantee, and we have our seller net sheet, right? And we work through this with them. I also print off, funny enough, this was mentioned on today's call, but I actually have our belief system. This is actually that thing that that video was about on our call today is exactly what I've implemented into my business. So we believe our big why is our service, and we believe building service through client experiences, and we just happen to sell real estate. That's something I pitched to every single client of mine.
Good.
So using that stuff, I was able to present all the facts. And then I don't even give, I write down a price valuation in my head. I have it written down for them. And I say to them, based on what I just showed you, the for sale properties and the sold properties, what do you believe your home to be worth? And right away, the guy, when I asked him that, he's like, I would say 1.4 to 1.5. And I was like, yeah, you're actually spot on. I listed you at 1.5. If we're holding offers, I'd probably do 1.399 or 1.45, right? And we hit it off right from there. I might have missed this, but why did you decide to price at list price value versus the popular method of underpricing? Yeah, what Dave said. So the client had some showing restrictions that would make it very challenging to have done that, and that's why we chose to go with the strategy we chose. And that alone, and understanding what my clients' needs were, that alone was enough for me to get the listing, right? Because the guy called me back and he's like, yeah, listen, out of all the people I interviewed, you were the only ones that actually took into consideration that I have a son that works from home and I can't show the home all the time. And I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that's good.
That's awesome.
Because you're
Yeah,
you empathize with them, and you saw where they're coming from. You didn't give them the cookie cutter solution that you had to show from an offer day, which is I'm sure most agents probably went in there being like, oh, you have to serve some interest, have an offer day.
Yeah. And I even told them, I said, I'm going to price it more aggressively so that I can, try to limit the amount of people that are coming in the home. So the people that are coming in are very high motivated people looking to move into this area. Now that actually backfired on me. It still blew up. We still had 30 plus showings, but at the end of the day, it was worth the try, right? He understood my strategy and he sympathized with it and he liked it. Yeah. He saw that I was putting in that extra care, right? Now, when it comes to listing a luxury home, I would say a luxury home is a good example. A home that's 2 million plus, 3 million plus, that gets back down to this price per square footage thing, right? And it's important to know that because especially with condos, condo sales are mainly price per square foot, right? When you're looking at the condo building, you can see, boom, okay, this is the square footage, this is the price per square foot. And you know if you're getting a good deal or not, right? Right away. But in the reality of a hot seller's market that we're in, we don't necessarily need that right now, right? And I don't want to say not to do it. If that is still your strategy, absolutely look into that. And I still think that's a great thing to do. And you can buy square footages on MPAC. I think you can buy it through Geo Warehouse now too. Like there's definitely a couple locations that you can purchase the square footage of properties so you can compare it. It's just in this instance, I didn't need to do that. So that pretty much sums up exactly how I priced this property, how I prepared the marketing strategy, and how we went off and sold it, right? Does anybody have any questions about that? Pretty straightforward class, I would say. No questions? Okay. That's literally all I have for you guys today. So if you want, I mean, if somebody has a property they want to try to price out, we can literally work through that now and try to work on price point. But this is something also to flip it. When you're buying a property for a client, this is something else that you can look at too, right? So when you know right away, actually, I'll go into this a little bit because this is kind of interesting. If I'm looking in an area, let's say I'm looking in Newmarket and I'm looking, my client's looking to move into Summerhill. Exactly. Let's do Summerhill again. York, Newmarket, Summerhill. Okay. Shit, I already screwed this up. We're looking at unavailable properties there. Okay. York, Newmarket, Summerhill Estates. And we're just going to look at all the sold in the past month because we have a very comparable property coming to the market. Let's call it. Or we're trying to find a very comparable property. Okay. So the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these stats. There's 19 homes. And I'm going to click on the stats right away. And I'm going to see that on average for actually, let's say it's a detached home that we're shopping for. Sorry, I just want to make sure this is very specific. So we are looking for a detached homes. So there's been 5 that have sold. Looking at these 5, I'm going to pull up the stats on them. I can see the average of these homes have sold for 1.510. And on top of that, they days on market, sorry, the difference, there it is there. The difference is 109. So percentage to ask. So they're asking for the percentage of for their asking price, they're going roughly about 9% over asking price. Dave, you throw up your hand again there. Oh,
no.
Oh, no, you're good. Okay.
I didn't take it out.
Yeah, no worries. So they're basically, if a home is listed at 1,499,000 and we're looking at the comparable properties, we can probably safely assume it's going to go for roughly about 9% over asking price, right? Assuming that it's priced correctly. And we know it's priced correctly by looking at the market and evaluating the market. So now when we're coaching our clients, we can tell them, listen, I understand it's priced low at 1,399, but roughly based on these stats, this property is going to go for 10% over asking price. So we have to be at 1,430,000, whatever it is, right? Whatever the numbers are. And you're advising them that because that's the way that you're going to capture these homes. That's the way you're going to win these deals in these multiple offer situations, right? I didn't even look at what my stat was on percentage over ask. Yeah, so we were only 3% over asking. Okay, not that bad. So we were below average in that sense. But again, we priced more aggressively, right? 1,499. But yes, so basically using that, like when you're buying a property, you should also be doing a CMA for that property that you're purchasing, right? So you can advise your clients that, yeah, this is what the sale price is going to look like. The average home in that area is going 10% over asking or going 5% over asking. So if we go at 6% over asking, we're going to win it, right? There was a point where it seemed that like in the summer, homes were going for like 20% over asking, right? I would see a home listed at 999. It was selling for 1.2, right? 999, 1.2, 1.25, 1. And it was like, holy shit, this is insane. Like this is getting crazy. Just last week or 2 weeks ago, this one blew my mind, right? I'll share it with you guys here. There was a townhouse in Summerhill. Right here. Look at this. Look at this thing. 1.3 it sold. I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned. It's a townhouse, right? And it's not even like it's like decked out. Like it's like a very mediocre townhouse. Like look at the kitchen. It's not even granite. And it's sold for 1.3 in Newmarket. Right. So how can you justify that? Like you can't even look at a price per square foot because it makes no sense. Right. It doesn't make any sense at all. And there was one that just sold, like if we went back to the sold date to the closest, the last one sold under 1.3, right? The last two sold for under 1.3. Like this one on Denise, which isn't the greatest part, sold for 1.3, yet this one on William, which is, I think this one was done up a little bit nicer. Maybe not. Yeah, not bad. It's got LEDs, it's got a nice back wall, older kitchen, but still it sold for, 40 grand under that, right? So like when you're looking at it, the market is that crazy, right? Nothing really makes sense anymore, unfortunately. But that's how I determine the price of a property in today's marketplace, given those facts. Now, again, like I said, going to where Alexa's area, where she trades in, it's much different, right? You're looking at price per acre. You're looking at what a lot of land is going to get you. You're looking at what a smaller home will get you, price per square foot of that smaller home. That's when you need to be more in depth because pricing is a little bit more harder to determine because of the lack of comparable properties, right?
Price per square foot, I haven't found works as well up here. Just
Really?
because there's a huge variety in finishes. Some can be really well done inside, and then there's others that I wouldn't even put food in the cupboards, kind of thing.
And Alexa's saying the same thing. Her either. The price per square foot doesn't work that great. So that's so good to know because, like for me, I never think it works great. Like I don't know. I'm that way. I have for my entire real estate career. I don't even think I've ever done it once where I've actually, no, sorry, I shouldn't say that. When it comes to condos, I do price per square foot, right? But when it comes to like resale homes, I try to go so much on depth about the comparable properties in that area and compare them. Okay, this one has a fireplace. This one doesn't. This one has a living room. This one has a shittier living room. This one has, and I go through it. This one has 3 bedrooms. This one has 2. What's the value of that 3rd bedroom in that area?
Just your thought on a townhouse. How much value would you put an end unit versus a center unit?
Again, like this is, and this is exactly why I look at this is it depends on the area. And so what I would do is I would actually look and see that in comparison, I would take all the end unit townhomes that have sold in the past 5 months and see the percentage of the sold price over the ones that are inner units. And that's how I would determine the value of that. Because like a townhouse end unit in Summerhill might have more value than a townhouse end unit in London, Bristol, right? And I know it's completely different. In my mind, I'm like, roughly like I would say like 25, 50 grand, where you got the end unit, right? But that might not be the case. It might be 100,000. It might even be more, right? In Denise's case, that one on Denise was an end unit. It sold for 40 grand more than the other one. The only main difference was that it was an end unit, right? So in that case, it's 40 grand is the value of that. And even with bedrooms, like I would look at, if we're a 2-bedroom home and the other homes are 3 bedrooms, on average, what are the 2-bedroom homes going for versus on average, what are the 3-bedroom homes going for, right? And if there's a $30,000 price range, yeah, it maybe not have to do with just that bedroom itself, but we can roughly assume, let's call it maybe 15 grand of that is towards the bedroom, right? Or whatever, we want to look at the stats that way.
Okay, I have a unique property that's detached, 3-bedroom, but it has only 2 bathrooms in a fully detached home.
Yeah.
So it's very, very specific.
Yeah.
So that's my
Where is that property?
Richmond Hill. I mean, it's gonna sell no problem because
I know it will sell like nothing. Yeah,
right?
And that's the thing, right? But that's why it's important in a buyer's market. That's where it becomes more important that we take a look at the market, because now you can just list it. If the average price on the street is listed at 1.2, you go 1.1 and you'll sell it next week for whatever, right? It doesn't even matter. You're gonna fly it off the shelf.
For sure.
But we find that, like when I look at that, I would say, okay, right away, I would look at what are the 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms selling for versus the 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms selling for. And then I see, okay, there's an average price difference of roughly 5%. I would apply that to my sale price, assuming that the condition of the home is similar in all those small details.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because I agree. Like, I think finishes in a home, I agree with Lisa here. Finishes in a home are hit and miss, man. Like, some properties are done up to the 9s, and some I wouldn't even let my dog live in for a day. But yet the ones that are crappier will sell higher, or they'll sell for an outrageous number. And it's like, how does that even make sense? Like, they're not even because people don't actually look at the price per square foot. People, when they're buying, they buy what they need. It's not like there's some circumstances. When I listed my house in Newmarket there, it was one of 25 homes for sale, half of which were townhomes, right? So it's like I'm competing with like 12 homes that are detached. 3 of them are completely in like of 3 million plus price range. So they're out. So now I'm really competing with like 9 homes. And of that 9 homes, not a single one of them are in the Summerhill area. There's not a single detached home in Summerhill that was for sale at the time. So I'm like, I got all the advantage here. I have all the leverage.
All the power.
I have all the power. Nobody. So I had like Brian, or actually, maybe I shouldn't say his name. Shit. Sorry. I had an agent call me, and I had an agent call me and it's like, yeah, like I'll bring you 1.4. I'm like, don't even waste my time. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, how can you justify a price over 1.5? I'm like, how can you not? Like, what do you mean? How do I have to explain this to you? Like, it was just like, how do you not get it? But that is the market, right?
Mhm.
And it's very hit and miss because of that. And that's the way that things go in this market. And unfortunately, when we do shift, because there will come a time that it will shift, that's when it's very important that we start to look at other ways to value the property. And instead of like, I don't know, I hate listing properties. I've told this to Dylan several times, and he's like, why? Who cares, right? I hate listing like really, really low and holding offers. It's just not, I just don't love to do it because I get nervous. I'm like, what if nobody actually comes in, or what if the price point that I want never actually happens? Yeah. See, Alexa, it scares her too. She's saying, it scares the hell out of me. Cause I'm like, shit, like what if this just backfires completely and I look like an idiot? And then like, I think the one time I did it in Keswick, we didn't even hold offers. We just blew it out of the water. The sellers called me and they're like, yeah, because it only took you 1 day to sell my house, can you reduce your commission? I'm like, dude, I'm like, it took you 1 day because of the shit that I went in, like because of the work I did. I'm like, I'm not reducing I'm like, no, I can't. Like, I put in the work and energy to get you that top dollar with the strategy that I chose. And that's what made you get there, right? I could have held it for a week, 2 weeks, who knows? I could have done whatever I wanted to do, right?
Wow.
But you paid me for that. And that's exactly what I did for you. I paid for my commission through that, right? So that's always frustrating too. So I didn't love that, but I've had that happen a couple of times. And just because you don't list and holding offers doesn't mean you don't get multiple offers, right?
Mhm.
Like it happens regardless of the fact. Like we end up getting 4 offers in total on this place, even though we weren't even holding offers, right? It's just a natural part of the market, and we price aggressively. If I held offers at 1.399, we probably would have got maybe 6 offers, 7 offers. We would have gotten more, but it just would have been more work for me to go through and more BS to deal with, right? So I stuck to the strategy, and it worked out in this case. And I'll probably continue to use the same strategy or a similar strategy in pricing homes. And the odd time I might hold offers because it might just be an easier way to do it. And it might be like, I remember I listed a home last year in August. No, when was it? No, it was in the fall. It was in the fall of last year. And no, it was the spring. I apologize. It was the spring of last year. And at the time, every single property in the area all held offers, every single one. It was in Hall Landing. And I was like, okay, this is the strategy we got to go. But when I followed up with those properties the next week to see what happened, every single one got relisted at a higher price because they never got to the price point that they wanted. So I literally called the homeowner. I showed him the data and I said, listen, look, 5 of them all held offers. 4 out of the 5 of them relisted at a higher price. Clearly, this is not the strategy to go with in this area at this current time. So let's go. And we didn't hold offers. We went with market value strategy, and we sold it like, I think we were like $5,000 off of his number was 1.4, and we sold it for like 1.465. Like I went like crazy. I was like, all right, let's go high and we'll let them negotiate and see what happens. And we got way above what he was looking for. Now, the grand scheme of things, they should have held it, but doesn't matter. Can't change the past. Okay, if you guys don't have any questions, that's all I have for you today. Hopefully that was a pretty straightforward class, and it kind of demonstrates how it is that I determine that property price and how it is that I determined that marketing strategy for that property. Is everything kind of clear, maybe-ish? This was helpful. Awesome. I'm glad. Awesome.
Thanks so much, Mike.
No worries, guys. No worries. If you don't have any questions, I'll call it a day. You guys can get out of here a little bit early.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much, Mike.
Thank
No
you.
worries, guys. Have a great day. Take care.